Welcome to Darren Daily On Demand, your most trusted resource to help you become better every day. Here's your success mentor, Darren Hardy.
Welcome back to this very special series titled Success Exposed, the 10 X Factors super achievers use to multiply their results and dominate their markets. Hey, give me your attention here for a second. Let me ask you a question. What is the most valuable thing in the world? Nope, it is not money, gold, or diamonds. Nope, it's not cryptocurrencies or shares in Apple. Nope, it's not real estate securities or treasury bonds. And nope, it's not relationships, love, or even time. Because this has to come before all of those. The most valuable thing in the world isn't even a thing, but it is responsible for everything in your life. What is the most valuable thing in the world? Your attention. Why? Because what controls your attention controls your life. It is your attention that determines the experiences that you have, that determines the life you live. Or said another way, you must control your attention to gain control over your life. To control your life, you must control what you pay attention to. The fourth X Factors super achievers use to multiply their results and dominate their markets is they have maniacal focus. I'm talking like hardcore, unapologetic, insane focus. They know their attention is the most valuable commodity in their life. They know where their attention goes, energy flows, thus travels their life. They know if they want to gain more, grow more, impact more, they need to be maniacal about the focus of their attention. Period. Full stop. If I haven't gotten through to you yet on this, let me bring in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to say it to you.
I realize that to have the level of success that I want to have, it's difficult to spread it out and do multiple things. It takes such a desperate, obsessive focus. You really got to focus with all of your fiber and all of your heart and all of your creativity.
You hear that? He didn't say you got to be attentive. He didn't say you got to remain focused. He said, quote, it takes a desperate, obsessive focus. You really got to focus with all your fiber and all your heart and all your creativity, end quote. Well, you ask, in a world that is constantly tugging on you, in a world where your work is never done, your email is never empty, your to-do list is never complete, solicitations from your friends, family, your kids, your spouse never stop, what do? Great question. Let me bring in Joel Osteen to give you some guidance.
One of my strengths is I'm very disciplined and very focused, and I'm very good about what is the best way to spend my time. I mean, with a large church or any size church, you know, the work is never done. There's always somebody that needs help or counseling or maybe had an accident or something. So right at the very start, when we took over from my father 10 years ago, we decided that, we were going to see our children being raised. So I'm very careful about what I do. I don't do the funerals or the weddings and that's hard for me because I'm the type of person that doesn't want to say no. I like to please everybody. It's just my personality. But I was very disciplined to say, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be good for the weekend services. I think that's my biggest bang and what I'm called to do. And so knowing that, you know what, I don't go down to the staff every day. I study out of my house. And I take Wednesdays to just read new material and listen to CDs and pray and read the scripture and just try to take that whole day to just try to get to a real place of peace and to try to figure out what I'm going to share for that weekend. And then I'll take Thursday and Friday and I do nothing but work on my message and go over it so it's down in me. So I guess the feedback I get from people that helps when I talk to other pastors and things is just that I'm extremely disciplined in that I don't get involved in a lot of other things. And there are a lot of good things, but I think when you come back to say, what is the best thing that I'm called to do or that I'm good at? And, I know if I'm dealing with a whole lot of other things, I'm not going to be the best that I can be up there on the weekend. So I would just encourage people to really prune your life or get your schedule to where you can be good.
Exactly. As he said, work is never done. So you have to be disciplined to say no. It is up to you to figure out what is the best thing that I am good at. Then prune your life of most everything else around that one thing. That's good stuff, right? I hope that this is hitting home for you. Well, if Joel couldn't speak to your spirit within, let me bring in somebody from the spirit world. Of course, at the time of this audio recording, he was still with us in physical form, and oh boy, did this man dent the universe when he was walking this earth. Of course, I'm talking about the late, great Steve Jobs. Let me bring in Steve to give you a talking to about this concept of focus. You ready? Consider this like channeling a guru from the other side. Here goes.
So we had to decide what are the fundamental directions we're going in and what makes sense and what doesn't. And there were a bunch of things that didn't. And microcosmically, they might have made sense. Macrocosmically, they made no sense. And, the hardest thing is when you think about focusing, right? You think, well, focusing is saying yes, no. Focusing is about saying no. And the result of that focus is going to be some really great products where the total is much greater than the sum of the parts.
Oh man, the nuance there is so important. As Steve said, people think focus means saying yes to the thing you have to focus on, but that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other, and here's the key word. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. Steve also said you have to pick carefully. Success is saying no to 1,000 things. Now, to really cement this in, I'm going to bring in Joni Ive, who worked most intimately with Steve Jobs at Apple as the Chief Design Officer for 17 years. Here's Joni talking about his direct experience with Jobs' maniacal focus. Let's listen.
This sounds really simplistic, but it still shocks me how few people actually practice this. And it's a struggle to practice, but is this issue of focus. Steve was the most remarkably focused person I've ever met in my life. The thing with focus is it's not sort of like this thing you aspire to or you decide on Monday, you know what, I'm going to be focused. It is every minute, why are we talking about this? This is what we're working on. You can achieve so much when you truly focus. And one of the things that Steve would say, how many things have you said no to? And I would have these sacrificial things. I wanted to be very honest about it. And so I say, I said no to this and no to that. But he knew that I wasn't vaguely interested in doing those things anyway. So there was no real sacrifice. What focus means is saying no to something that you, with every bone in your body, you think is a phenomenal idea, and you wake up thinking about it, but you say no to it because you're focusing on something else.
Bam! Did you get that last part? What focus means is saying no to something that with every bone in your body you think is a phenomenal idea, but you say no to it anyway because you are focused on something else. I'm telling you, if you can be brave enough to fully embrace this idea, it will give you an advantage over your competition, over your contemporaries, so great that it will seem almost unfair, just as it proved to be for Steve and for Apple. So I challenge you with the question Steve would challenge Joni with incessantly asking, how many things have you said no to recently? And now take a look at your calendar, your project list, your idea list, your to-do list, etc. And what things, no matter how great they might seem, could be, might be, what things will you say no to because you are now focused on something else? Come on, be courageous. Prune your life aggressively and maintain that desperate, obsessive focus. Focus with all your fiber, all your heart, and all your creativity.
Hey, Darren Daily On Demand listeners, what did you think of today's X Factor secret? Are you thinking, wow, if I had only known this before? You know, Darren has learned all of these various tips and tricks from some of the world's most famous high achievers, and he feels guilty keeping them to himself. That's why he put together this special series. But he has another free resource where he shares even more. It's a 60-minute training broadcast that offers you 3 insider secrets specific to the topic of today's episode, focus. And since you're here, I know that you're looking to get any advantage you can to make sure you maintain that maniacal focus like Steve Jobs. So spend an hour with Darren. The training is free, but seats fill up fast. Just go to DarrenHardyBroadcast.com to secure your spot. Got that? One more time, it's DarrenHardyBroadcast.com.